What's going on? Are you ready to do some DPS? Are you ready to do some mad deeps? Let's get into it. We're doing some more monk action. We're going to be looking at Windwalker. Yeah, baby. We got flying serpent kicks going on. Yup. And I'm not going to compare them to Mortal Kombat because apparently I just can't get over it. Oh, so sad, Preacher. You really need to get over that stuff. So, Windwalker monks. How do they work? How do they play? What do they look like? Are they good? Do they do nice DPS? Let's find out. We're going to be covering all sorts of stuff in this video today. I'm going to look at the talents, how these guys play out. Then I'm going to do some big gameplay, take you through heroic, and we're going to see how it all works out together. So we're going to look at single target first, and we're going to look at exactly how these talents all work together. So let's jump into the spell book first of all and see what the hell we've got to play with. One of the hardest things about getting a new class is like, all these things just don't make any sense to us, do they? There's all this crazy crap going on, and we're like, ugh. A basic idea of how the monk will work is we've got the two resources. We've got energy, as we talked about in the past, and we've got chi. And we're obviously trying to balance those out. Similar to how a DK works with his runes and his runic power, we're trying to balance using that resource, because when energy bars are full ballers, we're not generating any energy. So we need to make sure our energy bar is constantly refilling, and then we're using up the chi that we generate by using up that energy in the same place, and then we get a nice balance going on. So what we have is various, and I'm going to use the word in a bit of a rogue comparison, finishers. We have various finishers which use chi. These finishers are all different cooldowns, they do different things, and we need to prioritize which finisher we want to use. So let's kick off with the first one, Blackout Kick. It's generally shared by every single spec. Everybody gets a Blackout Kick. For the DPS monks though, it costs 2 chi. You kick with a blast of chi energy, dealing around 20,000 damage. If you're behind the target, however, you deal an additional 20% damage over 4 seconds. So you get a dot. It's not a very big dot. It's not very big at all. I'm going to show you that now. Let's give a jab. Okay. Blackout Kick there, and you can see the Blackout Kick there taking the 600 damage. Now, the good thing about this dot is it stacks, so there's nothing to worry about clipping dots, as we tend to see with a lot of things that do dot damage. We're always worried about clipping those things. Not with the Blackout Kick. We can spam it as much as we want. We will still get the dot building up nicely. That's not to say it's ever going to be incredible amounts of DPS. It only lasts for 4 seconds, and pretty quickly you're going to run out of the chi to actually maintain it. So it's not too bad. Just don't worry about clipping it. If you can Blackout Kick and you want to Blackout Kick, go ahead and do it. That's a talent, we'll ignore that. Crackling Jade Lightning is still there. It's not the best ability. If you do have to go to range, fine. Go ahead with the Crackling Jade Lightning. You can't possibly melee. Not too bad at all. First thing I want to talk about is an energizing brew. This is a brew that we pick up on a 1-minute cooldown. It regenerates 60 energy over 6 seconds. Can only be used while in combat. The easiest comparison I can make to this is a Tiger's Fury for a Feral Druid. Very similar to the Rogue. If we keep Tiger's Fury on cooldown, we get this big boost of energy that we need very, very quickly. So it's not too bad. You can see it's down here on my taskbar. If I come in here and just spam some jabs to get some energy gone. Parry, parry. Of course I got parry. I can then spam it, and you'll see my energy starts reloading much, much quicker, allowing me to really build up my chi. Now, as it's on a 1-minute cooldown, we want to keep that thing on cooldown. We really do. It's a hell of a lot of energy. We need to keep it on cooldown, much the same way we would use a Tiger's Fury. Delaying things like Energizing Brew or a Tiger's Fury means we've possibly missed 1, 2, or 3 throughout the fight. That's a ton of energy we're missing. That's like 180 energy that we've missed in a very short period of time. We have a couple of ways of generating chi. One of them is jab. I spoke about it there. Jab is your bread and butter. It's got no cooldown, it costs 40 energy, and it jabs, and it generates 2 chi. That's with talents and stuff, okay? It does a tremendously low amount of damage. It does 4,000 damage. 4,000 damage is weak sauce. Its main purpose, of course, is to generate some chi. However, we also have Expel Harm. Expel Harm costs the same amount of energy. See, 40 energy there. Instant, where is it? Jab, right. 40 energy on jab. Let's read it. Instantly heals yourself for 12,000 to 16,000 and causes 50% of the amount healed to instantly be dealt to a nearby enemy as damage within 10 yards. So you can see it's instantly double the damage, right? Let's look at jab again. Jab is 4k damage. Expel Harm is half of the 16k, so up to around 8k. It's basically double the damage, and it also generates 2 chi. It does have some slight drawbacks compared to jab. First of all, it's on a 15-second cooldown, so we can't spam Expel Harm. which is cool because it's a heal. We compared it to Word of Glory while we were doing some tanking. But the other aspect of this is it won't proc our mastery. Now, we're still going to be using this on cooldown because it's double the damage of jab and it costs the same amount of energy. Despite the fact that it won't proc our mastery, that's okay. It does double the amount of damage. That's absolutely fine. So we're going to be weaving jabs and expel harms into our rotation to generate our chi. Fists of Fury. This is another finisher. We've already had Blackout Kick. Here is another finisher. This one has a 25-second cooldown. It costs 3 chi. How annoying is an odd numbered amount of chi, Blizz? Come on, man. I don't want an odd number amount of chi. Get it together. Pummel all the targets in front of you. Eddie Honda. With rapid hand strikes, stunning them and dealing 20,000 damage immediately and every 1 second for 4 seconds. Damage is spread evenly over all targets. So it's an AoE. It's a frontal cone AoE, okay? Your parry chances increase by 100% while channeling. Always worth noticing in an emergency. So, okay, so we've got this frontal cone AoE. That damage is spread evenly, which means as an AoE, it fucking sucks, man. It's really bad. However, single target, it's really, really good. Okay, single target is really, really good. I'm going to zoom into this. I'm going to get myself up 3 chi. Okay, so I've got to the chi there, and you can see I'm going to go for it. You can see how it works there. You see my fist going mental. Yeah! And you can see it ticks for nice amounts of damage. It's very, very cool. It's a nice ability. So we're going to keep weaving Fists of Fury into our single target rotation. Although it does do some AoE, it's not that good for AoE at all. It's really not that cool at all. Just note that you can do some AoE with it. It costs a lot. 3 chi is a hell of a lot. We can use that in better places while doing big AoE, okay? We can really do that. The stun is not that great either. The stun is pretty garbage. Just be aware of that. So it's not like Shockwave. Some people wanted to compare this to a channeled Shockwave from the Warriors. It's really not like that at all. As an AoE, it's complete garbage, but single target is cool. So we've now got 2 finishers to weave into our single target rotation. Flying Serpent Kick. This is the charging stun. It looks awesome. You can press it twice. You can press it twice to decide where to land. That's one of the cool things about it. You don't have to travel the entire distance, which means, let's read it. Soar through the air towards an enemy at increased speed. While traveling, use Flying Serpent Kick again to land yourself, dealing 7,559 damage to all enemies within 8 yards and slowing them by 70%. Now, what does that mean? It's a really good AoE because it costs nothing. It costs absolutely nothing. You can see it's just instant, a 25-second cooldown, and because we can actually turn it on and off immediately, we could do it from standing. So if I'm AoE, I can spam the button, instantly land, and look, I'm going to do some big AoE damage there. 30k AoE that costs me absolutely nothing. So while we're doing our AoE, we're maybe waiting for some energy to regen or something like that. We can go ahead and use a Flying Serpent stick, no, Flying Serpent Kick. Be aware, it doesn't generate any chi, but it is completely free, makes it a very cool. We spoke about all these things before. These aren't Windwalker stuff. There's Jab there, our instant bread and butter filler. We've already spoke about that. Path of Blossoms, we spoke about as well. It's a little bit of weird ability that no one seems to be using it much for anything, really. You can sort of precast it before the fight starts, but it's not doing much damage over to anything. It's not that cool. Resuscitate is the res. Now, Rising Sun Kick. This is another finisher, okay? This one costs 2 chi, and this one has an 8-second cooldown. I would like to compare this to something like Mortal Strike, okay? It's something we want to keep on cooldown. It hits very hard. We want to be tracking this. This is the thing we're waiting to come off cooldown to make sure we can smash something in the face, Monk style. It's the Rising Sun Kick, okay? You kick upwards, dealing 35,000 damage and applying mortal wounds to the target. Now, that's not the important bit. Yes, it hits like a truck, okay? We've got some face-smashing action going on. This is the important bit. Also causes all targets within 8 yards to take an increased 10% damage for all your abilities for 15 seconds. 10% increased damage, which means this thing is pretty fucking major. It's very, very important. So Rising Sun Kick, 2 chi. We want to be keeping that on cooldown. You can see it there. And along with Fists of Fury. So now we've got 3 finishers we need to be tracking. 1 with no cooldown, that's the Blackout Kick. And 2 with cooldowns, that's the Rising Sun Kick and the Fists of Fury. Rising Sun Kick is far more important. It gives us that 10% extra buff to damage. Yes, the overlap is 5 seconds. They get the debuff for 15, and it's on a 8-second cooldown. That's not the problem. It still does a tremendous amount of damage. We want to be using that on cooldown. Spinning crane kick, we've seen this in the tanking as well. It is the bread and butter of your AoE when there's a large amount of mobs. So what you will actually be doing when you're doing some AoE is you're forgetting your Fist of Fury. You'll be coming in here and you'll be doing your spinning crane kick. It's not too bad for the DPS monks. You'll also be mixing your flying serpent kicks, as you can see there. And on cooldown, with the chi that we generate from our spinning crane kick, we will be using our big attack, our rising sun kick. So everything gets that 10% debuff. You can see it there. You can see it floating above there. Damage taken is increased by 10%. We want to keep that on cooldown. That's a 10% buff to our AoE, a 10% buff to our flying serpent kick, a 10% buff to our spinning crane kick, okay? Forget Fists of Fury for your AoE. Forget about it. Okay? It's garbage. It's really, really bad. Spinning Fire Blossom is pretty interesting. If I fire off an Expel Harm, let's read it. It deals 6,000 fire damage to the first enemy target in front of you. If Spinning Fire Blossom travels further than 10 yards, the damage is increased by 50% and you root the target. So it's a ranged paralysis. It's a ranged hamstring stun. It's a ranged snare, which is pretty cool. And you can fire it off mixing Expel Harm. Remember, Expel Harm is our other chi generator. We don't need to be near anything, so we can fire it off like this, and then we get into our spinning flying serpent. Woo! There it goes. So spinning Fire Blossom, and there you go. You can root targets at range. Cool little ability. I just wanted to make you aware of that. Windwalkers do get it, so when you're doing PvP and stuff, that's your ranged snare. Very cool little ability. It's really nice, and you can fire it off whenever you want, especially if you've got Expel Harm ready to go. Moving along. Tiger Palm is our 4th finisher, right? Our 4th finisher. Be aware, there is a stance. It's Stance of the Fierce Tiger. We only have the one stance, so don't worry about it, okay? It's nothing you need to be switching around like a DK or a warrior or anything like that. We just have Stance of the Fierce Tiger. Tiger Palm costs 1 chi. This is our 4th finisher. This one has no cooldown. So we've got 2 finishers with no cooldown, and we've got 2 finishers with cooldown. So a little bit of stuff to manage there, guys. A little bit of stuff to manage. Attack with the palm of your hand, dealing 8,000 damage. Now, it does the same things it does for the tanks. Also grants you Tiger Power, causing your attacks to ignore 10% of your enemy's armor for up to 20 seconds. People in the video were still confusing this with a Sunder Armor type debuff. It's not. It's not. Let me build up some chi. Right, let me spam this. You can see it's a buff on yourself. It doesn't matter if you change targets. If I switch to this target, I still have the Tiger Power buff. It's no big deal at all, okay? So we need to keep this debuff up. Or buff, should I say. We need this 30% armor ignore. You can see I've got it up there. It doesn't last too long, but we'll talk about how you keep that up in a few moments. No big deal. This is our DPS cooldown, okay? It's called Tiger Eye Brew. So we have 2 DPS cooldowns so far. One is Energizing Brew. For our burst, we're going to get that extra energy so we can build it up and do a lot more jabs, a lot more chi generated, a lot more attacks through that. We also have Tiger Eye Brew. It increases the damage done by 2% per stack of Tiger Eye Brew active, consuming your Tiger Eye Brew stacks. So we're actually building stacks. You can see it there, okay? Tiger Eye Brew. It builds up the stacks, okay? It builds up to 10 stacks. So what we want to be doing is using this at 10 stacks. That is the most efficient way to use it, because then we're definitely going to be generating more. We're getting the biggest damage buff we possibly can. You can see I'm building up. It's up to 3. It's a pretty regular build up. You can see I'm up to 4 now. Up to 4, building up. No big deal. Did we get another one? 5. It's very regular. It's nothing to worry about. It's something that we'll always have. You don't need to worry about it at all. You just need to track it. You need to be tracking this, and we want to be using this at 10 stacks, okay, to get a 20% damage debuff. And then we fire it off, boom, we'll use it, we'll drink it, then we get the buff Tiger Eye Brew, increasing damage done by 10%. Obviously, I use that at 5 stacks. You guys are going to want to be using that at 10 stacks. We'll be using it at 10 stacks while we're in the dungeon. So those are our DPS cooldowns. Energizing Brew and Tiger Eye Brew. Those are your 2 DPS cooldowns. Yeah, I can see the arguments already. Is Tiger Eye Brew takes some time to build up? Yes, it does. It has a 1-second cooldown to fire off. We can use it at lower Tiger Eye Brew stacks, but you don't want to. You want to wait till 10, fire it off immediately, and let it start regenerating back up till 10 to get as much of that benefit out of that damage bonus as humanly possible. Really important, guys, that you track that stuff. Touch of Karma is the other thing I wanted to talk about. This is like 2 chi cooldown that's defensive. Now, I like this for 5-man dungeons and stuff. All damage you take is redirected to the enemy target over 6 seconds, like a bleed, instead of you. Damage cannot exceed your total health. So we have this touch of karma and you will debuff the mob. That's how it works. You debuff the mob. It's pretty cool little ability. Let's get into the target. It's this ability right here. You can see touch of karma and then you fire it off. 1 minute cooldown and you can see it's on there. So if this mob was doing any damage to me, I would be redirecting it to that target. It does cost 2 chi. So you need to be aware how much damage am I actually going to take. I have 148k HP. It could not exceed that, but if I'm going to get attacked by a mob, I pull the boss accidentally, anything like that. A touch of karma, really nice little ability just to keep your DPS up while you're in a tricky situation. Very, very cool. Really like it. Now, I want to talk about the Mastery. Mastery, where are you? Leather special combo breaker. Combo breaker. This is where your mastery comes into play. It grants you a 90% chance for your jab to cause your next Tiger Palm to cost no chi, or your next Blackout Kick to cost no chi. This thing procs a hell of a lot, our combo breaker, okay? And this means that we will almost definitely never need to manually refresh Tiger Palm. So we can actually drop a finisher from it. So we're going to build our Tiger Palm. Now you can see it's procced already. See this here, this little icon? This is your Blackout Kick proc. So we can keep going. I've got my procs up of Tiger Eye Brew. I can go as normal. So I'm doing my DPS. There's another proc there. I'm doing my Expel Harms. I'm doing my Fists of Fury. Remember, it comes from your jab. So I said Expel Harm does not generate this stuff. There you go. Another proc there. Give me another Blackout through. It's not going to proc it on Tiger Palm. I knew it. It's okay. So I'm going to throw Tiger Palm in there. Come on. Give me a Tiger Palm one. Just to prove to the ballers it exists. Come on. No, not going to give it me. Come on. Oh, come on, baby. Don't let me down like this. Make me look a fool, man. Okay, so you do have to track it a little bit. In combat, I have not had to refresh that. I'm going to be absolutely honest with you. Although it didn't happen then, as always, while filming a video. That's just the way the world works, unfortunately. While I've been in 5-bans and stuff, I've never really had to manually refresh Tiger Power. Usually a Mastery Combo Breaker will proc very, very regularly on Tiger Palm, allowing you to maintain it. Just be aware to track it, because you can get to situations like I did there, where all my Combo Breakers were on Blackout Kick. That's going to leave you in a shitty situation. You're going to lose the 30% armor buff. That's your Mastery. So we're going to look into the talents, what I picked, what I thought was best. I'm only going to briefly touch on this as we went through it in the tank video and the monk overview itself. I went with Celerity. I love this moving between targets very quickly, building up the extra charges of Chi Torpedo and Roll, just so I can move very, very quickly, especially while you're leveling. Zen Sphere, I really liked Zen Sphere. It's cost 2 Chi to do this. It's a 40-yard range. It forms a Zen Sphere above the target, healing the target for some healing, and doing some damage to the nearest enemy within 10 yards. Every 2 seconds for 16 seconds. Only one Zen Sphere can be summoned at any time. If Zen Sphere is cast again while active, the Zen Sphere will detonate, dealing 8,490 damage and healing all targets within 10 yards. So we get a little extra AoE there, and we could drop it sort of if we could generate some chi beforehand, like with Expel Ham, we can actually go ahead and drop a Zen Sphere very, very early in the fight. See, I can drop it here, keep it on myself, and then boom, detonate it. Go detonate, baby. Go on, give me some range. Boom! AoE! Pretty cool. It's not too bad at all. It's a nice little AoE. Just to mix into the fact that AoE for a monk is fucking garbage. It's really shit. It's really, really bad. But if we need some healing, we're in a tough AoE situation. All the mobs are aggroing us. We can fire off a little bit of healing and we can detonate that for a nice little bit of burst healing. A nice little mix to mix into how you're playing. That's what I wanted to get out of it. It's not something we'll use in a regular AoE rotation, but things go wrong when we're AoEing. The tank might suck, anything like that. The tank dies. We can mix in some abilities with some chi like Zen Sphere, get some burst healing on demand, put a hot on ourselves. All very cool. Power Strikes, it's just a passive ability. Your jab generates additional chi when used. This effect has a 20-second cooldown. We like chi. Chi's where our big finishes come from. We have to make sure every 8 seconds we've got 2 chi. Every 25 seconds we've got 3 chi. We've got all this to manage, and then we want to get as many Blackout Kicks costing 2 chi in the middle of all that, just to make sure we keep as much of a dot on as possible. I rolled with charging Oxwave, the next one. An Ox Effigy rushes towards 30 yards in front of you, stunning all enemies. I like an AoE stun for when things go wrong. There goes my Oxwave. See, stun, 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 stuns all those. A nice little shockwave. I think that's more comparable to shockwave, although it's a 1 minute cooldown. Leg sweep is also very similar. It's on a 45-second cooldown. I don't need it that much, especially in PvE, to be able to AoE stun. So I really like charging Oxwave to be there when I need it. I still roll with healing elixirs. Anytime you drink from a brew or tea, you gain 10% of your total health. I think this is always cool because we're going to be using energizing brew on cooldown. We're going to be using tiger eye brew. All very cool that we could just keep topping our health up, looking after ourselves, mix that in with some Zen spheres, mix it in with expel harm. We can still drop healing spheres should we want to. All this kind of stuff is very, very cool just to make sure we're looking after ourselves. Because remember, a dead DPS is a shit DPS. In terms of the last talent, Invoke Zuen is the DPS talent that everybody is rolling with. I spoke about this in the tank video as well. Invoke Zuen, the White Tiger, is the DPS cooldown that everybody is rolling with so far on beta. They're all using Zuen. He's your main target. The rest of the stuff, Chi Torpedo and Rushing Jade's Wind, are all a little bit situational. Invoke Zuen seems to be the one of choice, okay? Glyphs are a little bit shitty. I'm going to show you them very quickly. There was one for Glyph of Fist of Fury that gives me the 100% parry chance while I'm using Fist of Fury. I still roll with Glyph of Fortifying Brew. Your Fortifying Brew reduces damage taken by an additional 5% and but increases your health by 10% rather than 20. I want the damage cooldown as a DPS. If I'm DPSing, I want that damage cooldown. The rest of the stuff isn't too bad. You move at full speed while channeling spinning crane kicks. Again, it's situational. It's nothing major. Sparring. If you're taking damage, this is for the guys who are leveling. While you're leveling, you build up sparring. While sparring, you also have 5% chance to deflect spells from attackers in front of you, stacking up to 3 times. It's not too bad, but we shouldn't be taking too much damage in PvE, which is why I'm not rolling with it. It's something I would roll with while leveling for sure. We definitely like to reflect spells, okay? So, there you go, guys. That's the Windwalker. I hope you enjoyed what you're looking at. We're going to jump into some gameplay now, and I hope you guys enjoy that too.